Is it time? Are you ready to side hustle your way to freedom? Well, grab a pen and paper because there are 5 critical questions that you must ask and answer. And it's these questions and answers that separate the hustle dreamers from the hustle doers. Let's go. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Unmuted. I'm your host, Courtland Warren. One of the real hot topics that you hear a lot about right now are those who are like they're building side businesses, side gigs, side hustles seems to be the topic of conversation for whatever reason. A lot of times it's because individuals are looking to increase their income, their means perhaps exceed what their income or what they're generating, or they're looking for something that they can do that more aligns with where they want to be. They want freedom. They want the ability to go where they want to go, when they want to go, to do what they want to do when they want to do it, to be who they want to be when they want to be that person. And maybe they recognize, or perhaps, and maybe you recognize that, doing that is not going to happen in the place where you are currently. And so oftentimes there is this admonishment to, burn your ships, burn the bridges, just go for it. And I think that is truly reckless living. Like, slow down a minute. But I am all about taking risk, but I am not about being reckless. In fact, over the last couple of years, I've actually stopped encouraging everybody to be an entrepreneur. Like, have your own business, be an entrepreneur, because I'm going to just be real with you. It is not easy. It is not easy. In fact, it's some of the toughest work that you'll ever do. Okay. So I don't just promote, just go out and just start your own thing, particularly without being able to ask and answer some very specific questions. Now, that said, this is not just from an altruistic, utopic viewpoint, right? If you're serious and if you are willing, does every individual have the capacity to learn what's necessary to be a self-starter, to self-initiate and go start a business? Absolutely. I do believe that. And I was sharing with someone, recently who just I just feel like my job is taken away from me building my business. And I'm like, okay, all right, well, let's examine that. So, how many hours in a day do you think you have to work on your business outside of your current job and your responsibilities to your family? Oh, I probably like 3 or 4 hours. Okay. And on a daily basis, how many of those hours, those 3 to 4 hours, are you using to build your business currently? Oh, 1 or 2. I said, so, okay. So what does quitting your job have to do with you using those additional 2 to 3 hours that you already have right now that you're not using? Because I can assure you that if you're not using the 3 or 4 hours that you have right now, it's unlikely that you're going to use, a 12 or 18. Does that make sense? So this is not about just running out to do it, but do I want you to have your own business? Yeah. Do I want you to have that freedom? Yes. Do I want you to know what it's like to have to get up and go get it yourself? I believe that is a worthy pursuit, right? That is a worthy pursuit. So if you already have a side hustle, it's like, man, I want to grow it. I'm ready to take it from a hobby to something serious. I'm ready to move it to the next level. There are some things there's some questions that you want to ask yourself. And in particular, there are 5 questions. Number 1, if you're going to take that, if you're going to hustle your way to freedom, then you got to be honest with yourself about what are your skills and interests. Like, what do you do well? Okay. And I would suggest that you look for the place where you're bored in doing something that other people find difficult. Okay. So if you do something well that other people find difficult, and it is likely that there is a way for you to turn that into a beautiful or handsome income. Like, choosing a side hustle that you want to choose one that like utilizes your existing skills and aligns with your interests. It is not wise to go out and do something that requires you to completely leave what you've already begun to master. At least there be some transferable skill. All right, someplace where you already have a level of mastery. So are there any skills that you can learn quickly that will complement where your interests already are? It is, and to set yourself up to where you don't have to go learn everything completely new. Now, are you going to have to improve your skill? Yeah, you're going to have to improve your skill, but I suggest like identifying something that already aligns with areas where you already have mastery, at least to begin. That's number one. All right. So what are your current skills and interests? Number two, is there a market for your side hustle? I just had an experience just a few hours ago where there was some. I was teaching a program, and there was a. Well, maybe you'll come to it one day, so I want to tell you exactly what was happening. But there was a feedback exercise, and first I asked the participant. I said, "Well, how do you feel?" And she said, "I feel great. I feel like I did a great job." But the feedback was opposite of that, and it became a great learning. It became a great learning moment for her and teachable moment as well. Right. So you could have the best idea. What you love the idea. You love the approach. You love the strategy. But when you take it to the marketplace, if no one says yes, if no one buys it, then it does not work. Okay. So you got to have the market decide what it will and will not use. The market decides, not us. Why? Because we become so emotionally attached to it. It becomes our pet project. It becomes our special thing. But if the market says no, and they say no with their wallets and their purses. So if the market is saying no, then you got to switch it up. That's the reason why you want to start. Oftentimes you start before you're ready. Before you give all of that time and energy and effort to something, before knowing if whether or not the market will even purchase it, right? Not wise, okay? So minimum viable product, first mover advantage, get it out there and let the market be the test. Do that before it's perfected in your own mind, because you spend that time in perfecting it, and you grow more and more emotionally attached to it. And then you take it to the marketplace, you present it to the world, and they don't want it. Okay, they're saying no with their wallet or with their purse. All right, so you want to identify a hustle that taps into current skills and interests, at least skills and interests that you have. Number two, you want one that has a market. Okay, there's a market for your hustle. Number three, determine how much money and time you will commit to it, because it's going to require some of both. So they're lying to you when they say that it won't require money and it won't require time, but you can be free in 30 days. Like, come on, right? So sometimes we don't have the cash or the money to work with. So you got to do a little bit more. You got to do some more sweat equity. Okay, you got to put more time into it. And then for others, well, maybe they don't have the time, but they have the cash, and so they can leverage the cash that they have. But it is inevitable that an investment will be required. So what are you willing to commit to? And determine that, all right? Determine what you are willing to commit to, because it's going to require effort. It's going to require time, and it's going to require money. And my encouragement to you is to run from anything that is suggesting that you can be a millionaire with no time, no money, and in 30 days. It's not real, and you can depend on me to be honest with you about that. All right. So if you're gonna hustle your way to freedom, you gotta one, pick something that you already have some skills and some interest in. Okay, it's got to be able to keep your attention. Number two, make sure there is a market for your hustle. As much as you love it, take it to the marketplace, present it to the marketplace, and allow the market to give you the feedback on whether or not it has legs. I believe it was my friend David Frey who said, it will grow if it deserves to, and the market determines that. If it deserves to grow, it will. And then number three, you got to determine what you're willing to put into it, what you're willing to invest when it comes to money and time. It's going to require some of both, if not a lot of both. Okay, so just know that up front, and don't buy into this fantasy that neither of those is required. Determine also what your financial goals are. So if it is freedom that you want, then recognize that freedom is not free. And so I want you to work towards or work on that hustle as though your freedom depends on it. Are you seeking, is it like, are you seeking extra income? Are you looking to build a sustainable business, or you just exploring a passion project? So when you define what your financial goals are, then you can apply your effort in relation to what would be the equivalent of that. But if you're going to just treat it like a hobby, then expect hobby type money. But if you're saying that this is going to be my path to freedom, then work as though it is your path to freedom. So what's the financial goal? So number one, do you already have skills and interests? Number two, is there a market for your hustle? Three, how much money, how much time, like energy are you going to put into the building of it? Number four, determine a financial goal for the hustle. And then number five, and perhaps most importantly, ask yourself, am I ready? Am I prepared for the challenges? So often people look towards a side business or a side hustle as their path to no effort. They want to own businesses so they can have time off. They want to own the business so they can call the shots and work when they want to. And, I've said before, if you're going into a business because you want time off, if you're going to build your business because you don't want to have to work so hard, if you're going to, start a business because you want to take off when you want to, then my recommendation is just stay behind the desk. Just stay behind the desk, because I don't want you to experience the level of disappointment that is on this side of it. When every morning you get up, you know that there's nothing coming in 2 weeks on automatic. There is no like automatic, no automatic deposit. There is no direct deposit every 2 weeks. Okay. Like if you don't get up and go get it, then nothing's coming in. And so a lot of times people are thinking the side hustle, they're starting a business for all of the freedom that they're going to have. And I can do what I want to do, and I can go in when I want to, and I can call my own shots. Maybe you work it to that level, but that is not the way that it starts. And so I want you to be prepared for the inevitable challenges, because there will be challenges. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. If you're going to, because the law of polarity states, okay, that in order for anything to exist, the opposite must exist also. So there's no up without a down. There's no in without out. There's no left without right. There's no positive without negative. And guess what? Guess what? There is no success without an experience of failure. So you've got to equip yourself with the growth mindset that enables you to navigate the challenges, to get over the hurdles, to move through the roadblocks. And if you'll do that, if you've determined that you will keep moving forward no matter what, if you will determine before you set out that you're going to continue to put one foot in front of the other, that you're going to keep moving, that you're not going to stop, if you determine that you're not going to stop, then you reaching your destination is inevitable. It's inevitable if you've already determined that you're not going to quit. So I want to see you hustle your way to freedom, but not with fantasy. So before you just like drop everything, take a moment to answer those questions. Where are your strengths? Like, what are the skills and interests that you already have? And then also, is there a market for your side hustle in the first place? Nothing more frustrating than to do all of that work, present it to the market, and the market says no. Number three, how much money and time are you willing to commit? Because we know that in order to get anything out, you got to put something in. That's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Number four, what are your financial goals? And then apply effort that is like commensurate. Apply effort that equals the goals that you have. So if you only just want a little bit extra cash, and perhaps you can treat it like a hobby. But you can't treat it like a hobby if what you want ultimately is liberty and freedom. And then number five, are you prepared, or what are you prepared to face the inevitable challenges? Because they're coming. And the challenges come not because you've done anything wrong. not because you've done anything wrong. Okay. And so lastly, I'll say this. We improve our skills. We improve our skills not so challenges go away. We improve our skills so that we qualify for what we want. I hope that helps. And if it does, don't keep this a secret. Let someone know that this podcast does exist. I want to see you hustle your way to freedom. Do so not in fantasy, but recognizing what's actually required. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.